Well, another small part of today's vote is the tiny US territory, in Super Tuesday I should say, is the tiny US territory of American Samoa. While its citizens aren't able to vote in the US presidential election itself, they do get a say in the nomination process. Well, here to explain all of this in more detail is reporter Manny Tsigas. Manny, good to have you with us. So, who won in American Samoa?
Well, so American Samoa held a caucus today, in which 6 delegates were up for grabs, and it turned out that former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg emerged as the winner, with winning 4 of those delegates. Now, this, of course, comes after he spent $500 million of his own money running for president, and in the end, this is actually the only success that he's had on Super Tuesday. So he won these 4 delegates after putting 7 of his own staff members there in American Samoa. He, of course, ran a barrage of ads across TV, radio, online, and so forth, and this was the only success that he had, unfortunately. So he's going to have to sort of maybe reassess his campaign from here. But that wasn't the only sort of embarrassing result to come out of American Samoa. The second place winner was Tulsi Gabbard, who only ended up getting 1 of those delegates, and that's despite the fact that she was actually born in American Samoa. And yes, she is still running for president. She's not really on the radar as heavily as other members are. But despite the fact that it is a rather poor showing for her, it still might be just enough for her to get her on the next debate stage. But we have to watch this space to see if the DNC does in fact invite her.
It's remarkable. Why does American Samoa have a say in this race?
Well, this is pretty much American Samoa's only chance to shine when it comes to shaping the US government and the US presidency. So a bit of background. American Samoa has been a US territory since 1900, but it remains the only US territory in which its people are not granted automatic citizenship, a birthright citizenship. So if somebody is born in American Samoa, they're only considered a US national as opposed to a US citizen. So they can't vote in any US elections, they can't run for any US office, and they can't hold certain government jobs and government positions.
And this is even though it is a territory of the United States.
That's right, and also the people of American Samoa are actually the biggest contributors to the US military in terms of their recruitment drives. So this is something that has been a huge point of contention there.
So where are we in terms of this debate? Is it an ongoing debate? Are they pushing for US citizenship?
It is. In fact, it has taken another step recently when 3 American Samoans who are based in the US state of Utah actually sued the US government trying to get those full citizenship rights. It turns out that the judge who was presiding over that case agreed with them and said that they should be able to get these rights under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. But that decision has now been put aside pending an appeal. So if this was to actually go through, about 150,000 American Samoans who are scattered throughout the country, the mainland, would benefit from this. But according to the American Samoan government, or at least their lawyers in this case, because they're appealing this decision by the Utah court, they are arguing that the 55,000 people who still live on the territory just don't want things to change.
And so why don't they? Why do they like the status quo?
Well, the one issue that keeps sort of coming up is the issue of land. So land in American Samoa is mainly owned by families. It's passed down from generation to generation, and it's mostly used for communal living. So families live there with their extended relatives, and then they would select which relative would represent them as a chief. If this Utah court case was to go through, then that would open the door for perhaps other parts of the US Constitution to impede on their way of life, or Fa'a Samoa, the Samoan way of life. And they don't want any sort of interference from the US government or the US court system.
And particularly their land rights. Well, that's fascinating. A little interesting twist on the Super Tuesday. Thanks, Manny.